Hello everyone, I am Dr. Muhammad Noor, senior consultant, embryologist, anatomist, and histologist. Today, I am here today to talk about the anatomy of the pituitary gland. But before to talk about the pituitary gland, let me brief you about the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a major system, one of the major systems that control the body functions. It works along with the nervous system, in close relation with the nervous system, and also it works along with the close relation with the cardiovascular system. The endocrine systems include pituitary gland or hypophysis cerebri. It has two loops, anterior loop and posterior loop, or anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Adrenal gland also is called suprarenal gland. It has two parts, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Of course, have different embryological origin and have different functions. Thyroid gland, the follicles is a functional part of the thyroid gland, is the functional cells, follicles. Parafollicular cells also produced by the thyroid gland, and parathyroid glands. Some of the structures are mixed glands like the testes and the ovaries. They have exocrine and endocrine functions, and some bits, some of the organs, these are the endocrine organs. But some organs have endocrine functions like the GIT, like the heart, and other bits of cells. Also, the pancreas is a mixed gland. It has endocrine function and exocrine functions. And what is the difference between endocrine gland and exocrine gland? The endocrine gland secretes hormones. It goes to receptor to a cell through blood vessels and through bloodstream. But the exocrine glands, they secrete their secretions through ducts. Here, take a look to the endocrine glands as we have seen already. And what do you expect to know about every endocrine structure or gland? You have to know what is it, what is the location, where it is located, what is the embryological origin or derivatives, what is the innervation, what is the arterial supply, what is the venous drainage, what are the functions, what the objectives, to describe the position of the pituitary gland. So this is a structure related to the pituitary gland. These are relations of the pituitary. These are very important. As I did mention, anatomy is the science of relations. To differentiate between the loops of the gland, anterior and posterior loops, describe the blood supply of the pituitary gland and the hypophyseal portal systems. Take a look to the pituitary gland, or it's called also hypophyseal cerebri. Here, as you can see at the arrow, it is treated as a master gland. It's a master endocrine gland. It controls other glands. And the hypothalamus is the president, and the pituitary gland is the vice president. The hypothalamus is a part of the brain. It's the group of nuclei. It's a part of the brain, it's the group of nuclei, hypothalamus. It has releasing factor or releasing hormone and inhibiting hormones. Releasing and inhibiting factors or hormones that are to the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is the master gland that controls other glands. That's why I said it's the president and the vice president. What is the president? The hypothalamus is the president. Of course, you know about the hypothalamus, control temperature, control the autonomic nervous system as well. The pituitary gland is a very small oval structure. The diameter is 1 centimeter and it weighs about 0.5 gram, half a gram, very small. Like this, some say this is a gold, this is a gold. It's a small structure with the valuable functions. It's like the gold. Small weight, and high value. Here, take a look to the X-ray. Here, see the hypophyseal fossa, hypophyseal air sinus. What are the air sinus? These are cavities in the sphenoid bone, sphenoidal air sinus. Take a look to the pituitary gland. It is located in the sphenoid bone in the midicranial fossa. As you can see, take a look to the anterior cranial fossa, midicranial fossa, and posterior cranial fossa. It is located in the sella turcica of the sphenoid bone in the midicranial fossa. Take a look to sella turcica in the midicranial fossa. Have a look to it lies within optic chiasma. What is optic chiasma? The two optic nerves unite together and form optic chiasma. That's why it's a very important relation with the optic nerve, because if there is the adenoma tumors of the pituitary gland, it affects the vision. These are very symptoms, important symptoms, affection of vision due to this relationship. As I did mention, anatomy is a science of relations. It lies between the optic chiasma anteriorly and maxillary pons posteriorly. Take a look at the two lobes, the anterior lobes and posterior lobe, and the hypothalamus and the stalk that connect the hypothalamus with the posterior pituitary or posterior lobe. Take a look to the posterior pituitary, take a look to the nuclei of the hypothalamus, paraventricular nucleus, supraoptic nucleus, and see optic chiasma, see the medial eminence. These are all the parts of the hypothalamus. Also, the hypothalamus is a small area. It's a part of the dencephalon. The dencephalon is the part of the brain. It includes the thalamus and hypothalamus. It includes the thalamus and hypothalamus. See the hypothalamus, hypophyseal tract, see the stalk, see the posterior pituitary, store oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. Actually, the oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone are secreted by the hypothalamus, released from the hypothalamus, transported to the posterior pituitary, and stored in the posterior pituitary. Take a look to the fold of the dura. The diaphragm cell covers the pituitary. The dura is the covering of the brain and the spinal cord. Three parts: dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. The dura mater has two layers, and between the two layers are closely packed together. In some places they separate and form dural venous sinus, venous drainage of the brain. The sinus is between the two layers of the dura. It has the opening, the diaphragm cell opening for the passage of the infundibulum, or it's called pituitary stalk, connecting the gland to the hypothalamus. Take a look to the relation. As I did mention, the most important thing in anatomy is the relation diaphragm cell superiorly, inferior sphenoid air sinus. These are cavities in sphenoid bone, and led by cavernous sinus. Yeah, the gland is subdivided into anterior lobe or adenomatous gland, adenohypophyseal. This is a true gland that secretes hormones, about 6 hormones. Posterior lobe and neurohypophyseal. These are connected to the hypothalamus through the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. It stores hormones secreted by the hypothalamic nuclei. The anterior pituitary or the pituitary gland, as I did mention, is a master gland. It consists of two parts: adenohypophyseal and neurohypophyseal. The adenohypophyseal is a true gland. It has pars distalis, pars tubularis, and pars intermediaris, as you can see here in the pictures. See pars nervosa, you see pars intermediaris, pars distalis. So you see these cells, acidophil cells, have cytoplasms that stain red or orange, and basophil cytoplasm that stains blue in color, and chromophobes have cytoplasm that stains very poorly. Take a look to these cells. This is histology of the pituitary gland. Blood supply by arterial supply by superior and inferior hypophyseal arteries. These are the branches from the internal carotid artery. The internal carotid artery is the branch from the common carotid artery. It gives no branch in the neck. It distributes to the brain. The veins, hypophyseal veins, drain into cavernous sinus. See distribution of the superior hypophyseal artery and the inferior hypophyseal artery. See the anterior loop, hormone leading and inhibiting factors produced by the hypothalamus, leading and inhibiting factors. Use the hypophyseal portal system of vessels to reach the anterior pituitary gland. The posterior loop, as you can see, the neurophyseal receive nerve supply from the nuclei of the hypothalamus. Supraoptic, for example, paraventricular nuclei, the axons. As we did mention, the neuron, it has cell bodies and two processes. The two processes are either axons and dendrite. Axon transmits the action potential, and dendrite is a receptor. Okay, thank you very much. That's all what I get to tell you.